The story you are about to enter is colder than legend, and far less heroic than most people imagine. You will witness the brutal distance between a forgotten thrall, the grinding routine of a Jarl, the silent discipline of a herdman, the feared reputation of a berserker, and the heavy authority of a Jarl. You will see how power grows not from glory but from survival inside the harsh world of Scandinavia around year 870 to year 889. No myths, no fantasy armor, only the slow climb through loyalty, reputation, and endurance. By the end of this journey, you will understand one truth about the Viking world. Status was never given. It was taken. The wind off the cold sea cuts across your face as you realize your life has changed forever. And this is level 1, Thrall. You remember the quiet fields of northern Europe fading behind you sometime around year 870, when everything familiar slipped out of reach. Now you wake before sunrise in a rough wooden settlement somewhere along the coast of Scandinavia, where the air smells of salt, smoke, and wet timber. Your hands work the soil beside strangers, while the village moves with a rhythm that has no room for questions. A tall hall stands at the center of the settlement, and every day you watch armored figures pass through its doors with the calm confidence of people who belong here. They speak of distant coasts like England and Francia, places where ships travel for trade, exploration, and the promise of something greater. You carry water, stack wood, and listen in silence as stories drift across the courtyard like sparks from a fire. No one calls you by name here, only by the quiet word Thrall, a reminder that your place sits at the very bottom of this hard world. Yet even in the quiet routine, you notice something else moving beneath the surface of village life. Every summer the longships return to the shore, and the warriors step onto the sand with new scars, new gold, and new respect in their eyes. As you watch them disappear into the great hall of Scandinavia, a cold thought forms in your mind that this story might not end where it began, and that the next chapter waits just beyond the horizon of level 2, Jarl. Morning fog drifts across the fields as you realize your life no longer belongs to the shadows. And this is level 2, Jarl. The word Jarl carries a different weight in the village of Scandinavia, and for the first time people look at you as someone who stands on his own feet. Your freedom was granted after years of quiet work, sometime around year 873, a moment that passed without celebration but changed everything. You now wake inside a modest wooden home instead of the corner of a crowded shed, and the tools in your hands belong to you. The land stretches wide under the pale sky of northern Europe, and each furrow in the soil reminds you that survival here depends on patience more than strength. In the evenings, the village gathers near the fire, and men speak openly about journeys to England, Francia, and distant trading towns where silver changes hands and reputations are built. You learn to hold a shield, to balance a simple axe, and to listen carefully when older warriors speak about storms and sea routes. No one promises glory here because everyone knows the sea gives nothing without taking something back. Still, the longships return every summer, sliding onto the shore with quiet authority as if they own the coastline of Scandinavia. When the warriors step onto land with new coins and strange stories, you notice how the entire village watches them with a mix of caution and respect. The elders say a man becomes something greater when he proves himself beyond the fields, somewhere past the gray horizon, where the sea meets the unknown. As the wind rattles the wooden roofs and another ship is prepared for departure in year 875, you begin to understand that your place in this world might not stay tied to the soil forever, and that the path ahead leads straight toward Level 3, Herdman. The salt wind hits harder now as you stand beside armed men on the shore of Scandinavia, realizing the quiet life behind you has shifted again, and this is Level 3, Herdman. Your name begins to circulate among warriors sometime around year 878, after seasons of proving you can stand steady when others hesitate. A herdman is not just another fighter in the crowd, but a trusted blade inside the circle of a powerful Jarl, and that circle is small. You now eat inside the long hall of northern Europe, where the firelight flickers across shields hanging from the walls, and every conversation carries the weight of loyalty. The Jarl of Vestfold sits at the center of the hall, calm and deliberate, studying the men who have sworn to stand between him and the chaos of the world. Your days begin before dawn with drills in the frost, shields locked together while older warriors correct every mistake without mercy. The discipline feels colder than the sea, yet you sense something valuable forming in the silence between commands. When the long ships cut through gray water toward the coasts of England and Francia, You stand near the front with warriors who have done this for years. No one brags about glory because everyone understands that reputation grows quietly through patience and reliability. Inside the herd, loyalty moves like an unspoken rule that decides who rises and who disappears from the hall. Silver coins pass through your hands for the first time, small but real proof that service has value in this harsh corner of Scandinavia. Yet even within the circle of trusted warriors, you begin to hear whispers about fighters who move differently on the battlefield. They speak of men who seem untouched by fear, warriors whose names travel through villages long before they arrive. As the winter winds close around the wooden halls in year 880, you realize the path of the herdman may only be another step toward something far more feared known as Level 4, Berserker. The hall grows quiet when your name is mentioned now, and you begin to understand that your path has crossed into something darker called Level 4, Berserker. The change did not happen in a single moment, but slowly across harsh campaigns along the coasts of England and the cold waters of northern Europe around year 882. Warriors inside the herd started noticing how you moved when pressure rose, steady and relentless while others pulled back to breathe. The word berserker travels through the long haul of Scandinavia like a rumor people respect but never fully trust. Some say fighters like you carry the spirit of the bear. Others believe it is simply the result of discipline pushed far beyond ordinary limits. You still train before sunrise beside the same warriors, yet the way they watch you has changed in a quiet but unmistakable way. During voyages across the Gray Sea, your presence near the front of the ship seems to settle the crew, as if confidence spreads through silence rather than loud promises. The Jarl of Vestfold now studies you with careful attention, aware that warriors like this can inspire courage, but also stir unease inside the ranks. Stories begin circulating through nearby villages of a fighter who does not hesitate when storms gather around a battlefield. Traders traveling between Francia, Denmark, and Scandinavia repeat the name Berserker like a symbol of relentless resolve rather than reckless fury. Yet the reputation carries a strange cost, because admiration often walks beside distance. Even inside the long hall, people give you space, unsure whether they are speaking to a man or a legend forming in real time. You begin to see that power alone cannot shape the future of a Viking world built on loyalty and leadership. As winter closes in across the coast of Scandinavia in year 885, a different possibility rises in your mind, one that leads beyond the fury of battle and toward the authority of Level 5, Jarl. The long hall feels different tonight as the warriors gather around the fire, and you understand your journey has reached Level 5, Jarl. The title Jarl carries a gravity that stretches far beyond the battlefield, and it settles over you sometime around year 889 along the rugged coast of Scandinavia. For years, your name moved through villages across northern Europe, carried by sailors, traders, and warriors who spoke quietly about the fighter who never stepped back. Now the seat at the center of the hall belongs to you, carved from thick oak and placed beneath banners that mark your growing authority. The men who once stood beside you in the herd now wait for your decisions, knowing every choice can shape the fate of farms, ships, and families across the region. Outside the hall, longships rest along the dark shoreline, their carved prows facing the open sea like silent promises. Messengers arrive from distant coasts of England, Francia, and Denmark, each bringing news of alliances, trade routes, and the shifting balance of power across northern Europe. Leadership proves colder than any storm you faced as a warrior, because the weight now rests not on your shield, but on your judgment. The village watches carefully as you settle disputes, organize voyages, and divide silver earned from seasons of travel and trade. Some nights you walk beyond the hall to the edge of the shoreline where the wind carries the same salt and silence you first felt years ago. It is there you remember the quiet boy who once worked the soil as a forgotten thrall somewhere around year 870. The sea moves endlessly before you, reminding you that power in the Viking world never stands still for long. And as the firelight fades behind the Great Hall of Scandinavia, one final thought lingers in the cold air, that every Jarl knows, the horizon always hides another story waiting to begin. Now the fire in the Great Hall burns low, and the journey through the Viking ranks reaches its quiet end. From a nameless thrall in year 870 to a powerful Jarl by year 889, every step revealed the cold structure that shaped life across Scandinavia. Power was not just about battle, but about patience, loyalty, and the ability to survive a ruthless world. The sea outside the hall still moves under the same gray sky of Northern Europe, reminding every leader that fortune can change with a single season. And if this story proved anything, it is that history often begins with someone the world once ignored.